Good evening. This is Maestro Critello with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today, we have a 3v3 on Garvus Ice Gate. Our first player is Zato, playing as the Commissar Lord. This is a slightly tanky melee hero, only has 600 health to start out, does also have that free energy shield. He can execute his own troops to make them fight harder. His first teammate is Aguxyz, playing as the Grey Knight Bro Captain. Tanky melee hero in Terminator armor. He cannot be knocked down or suppressed. Very, very tough dude. And then finally we have, the sexy elite. Hey baby. This is, playing as the Kommando now. This is a orc infiltrator. He can become invisible and then strike from the shadows with bombs, guns, and even a knife. On the other team, first of all, we've got a Metal Commander playing as the Hive Tyrant. This is the tankiest, well, that's a little debatable, but he certainly has the highest starting health of any of the tanky melee heroes. One of the higher damages, I believe, as well. So tanky, tough, durable. He can be pretty aggressive. He also does have some versatility with some other options like a venom cannon or bioplasma. Next up, we've got Spudarevic as another Commissar Lord. And then finally, we have zeetorq, playing as the Inquisitor. This is a disabling and debuffing commander for the Imperial Guard. She can also become a tanky melee hero if that's what you wish. Alright, so then, Imperial Guard mirror over here. This squad of guardsmen is already done, as we can see. Got wiped pretty quickly. Who is getting doubled right here? Zato is getting doubled. He's going to lose his Commissar as well, I'm pretty sure. And Zato calls the double. Meanwhile, on this side, a Metal Commander also calls the double. So we had competing doubles on both sides. I would say the blue team suffered more from that double because Zato lost a squad. He also lost his commander, whereas the red team, Metal Commander did at least manage to preserve his units, and he didn't get hit too hard by the double. Both teams, nevertheless, do appear to be losing their power farms. Actually, it looks like the blue team might be able to hold it. No, it's definitely going to at least be destroyed, although they're also getting a full cap on the red team's natural power farm because of the fact that Metal Commander actually pretty much abandoned it. We've got stick bombs already from the Commando knob. Very nice war gear. Gives him a bundle of grenades that kind of are thrown out in a bit of a spread. Throws 4 of them, I believe. That's his stun bomb. Meanwhile, over here, the strike squad pushing in a little brazenly. Do lose a model on that strike squad, and those are some expensive models to reinforce. Anyway, we've got the guardsmen in the building, but they are about to be purged by flames because we do have some incinerators on this purgation squad, burning them out of that building. And now the red team is entirely in the middle, and actually, in the end, I think I might have been wrong about what I said with the blue team getting hit harder from the double, because it looks like the blue team now actually has control of the red team's natural power, since Metal Commander really abandoned that part of the map. So currently the blue team has a plus 39 power income to the plus 29 of the red team, and now it's even plus 49 as I'm speaking. I think that's because some generators were in the middle of building while I said that. So the blue team does have they do have an advantage in power income. Zato loses his Sentinel though, so he's lost quite a bit so far, but we're gonna see these, I think we're gonna see these Slugger Boys get wiped for the sexy lead. It's a close call, and actually it looks like they're not going to. No, I was wrong. Special attack by the Hive Tyrant actually does manage to finish off the Sluggers. Very, very nice. So when all is said and done, Metal Commander needs to move back out here, reclaim the power farm for his team, since they are at a pretty significant power disadvantage at this point. It is plus 49 to plus 29. The blue team will probably, most likely, all of their players will get to tier 2 before all of the players on the red team. Unless the players on the blue team go for some pretty expensive tier 1 builds, which, I mean, they would even have the luxury of doing that too. They could go long tier 1 because they should have a tech advantage. But, I mean, Metal Commander will reclaim his natural in no time, And wow, Spudarevic has a huge amount of requisition, so it should actually be on him to build the generator since he has a surplus of 1,000 requisition. zeetorq himself with plenty of requisition, so I think part of what that means, if these players have a lot of requisition, that means they're really not bleeding a lot. And, I mean, the way they would do that would be really minimizing the exposure of their guardsmen so that the guardsmen only take a few losses. And, I mean, even if the guardsmen are only taking a few losses, it's very, very cheap to replace these guardsmen right now. They do have their sergeant, so they will replace at 2 for 1. And I forget the exact reinforcement cost. I believe it's 19, actually. So a 19 reinforcement cost for, but you get 2 for 1. Which is actually the best reinforcement cost in the game. The only one that's better is later on when you can reinforce them 3 for 1. Anyway, we have an IED being placed by the Catachan Devils. I would think if all these guardsmen are here, they would want to commit harder to actually bashing those generators, but instead it looks like they're going to make a stand. Now, Purgation is going to be... the Purgation squad is very, very powerful against Imperial Guard squads. But they do, it looks like they eventually were going to get tied up by the Commissar Lord, so they do run out of there and retreat. IED is right here, and they definitely don't see that. IED should go off as they walk over it. They don't quite have the right positioning. Not enough units right on top of those IEDs, that IED. And Zato, does he have a... He does not have a detector. Although it would be even better if he can manage to use that IED on retreat. Attempted artillery shell misses, so doesn't hit anything. And the Inquisitor is running around here. She is by herself at the moment. Smoke shell about to go off on the heavy weapon team. And she is getting focused down from the suppression. She will do quite a bit of damage with that Holy Brazier in her hand. 50 DPS power melee, nothing to scoff at. And it looks like the IED eventually was either detonated or it just went down. Alright, meanwhile over here, C0Mmander still reclaiming the natural power. Power income is now actually pretty much evened out because the red team has placed a secondary power farm on a contested power node, but it's definitely going to get burned down by these double flamer guardsmen. Or the guardsmen are going to get burned down by some artillery. They did get knocked down. So Flamer Guardsmen, usually Flamers are not the most common purchase, or not a very common purchase on Guardsmen, just because usually the Plasma Gun upgrade is usually more desirable, and I mean, many times it's even more desirable to just not upgrade them so that they retain their full range. Guardsmen with Flamers, they will have less range on the Flamer, so that means that they're at the maximum range of the las guns. They will be doing less damage if they have the Flamers. And that, I mean, that's three of them. So that, wow, IED goes off, nearly finishes this squad of guardsmen. Three las guns may not seem like that much, but 3 las guns. I believe it might be. I can remember it exactly. I believe it's 4 DPS per las gun. So taking out 3 of those is taking out 12. And that could be reducing the damage output of the squad at las gun range by 25 to 30 to 33%. Looks like a brood nest went up and then instantly went down, and wow, triple Hormagaunts in retreat finished off the strike squad for Aguxyz. Absolutely painful. We do have triple Hormagaunts from C0Mmander, not a terribly common build, but I mean, Hormagaunts, and I mean, generally, probably not most desirable, but it is an extremely high DPS build. I mean, Hormagaunts, each one of these Hormagaunts, every Hormagaunt model does 20 DPS melee, so that's 160 DPS as a squad, times 3 comes out to 480 DPS melee on retreat. On retreat would increase it even more. Anyway, Luda should go down, actually. Should get force meleeed by the warriors. Luda does go down. So overextension now from Sexy Leaf. Sexy Leaf not looking too sexy, to be honest. He's looking quite dead. So he's lost most of his stuff, pushed pretty hard for that bash, and I feel like he was here for a while, and I feel like he should have gotten more down here. He must have not had, like, Sluggas with Burnas or something. Even if he had Shootas, I feel like this should have gone down faster. But either way, he got hit hard. Alright, so Zato and Aguxyz now moving around. And, I mean, this is not looking good for the blue team, despite their VP lead. It's 454 to 332. But right now, the red team's definitely looking stronger with Sexy Leaf losing most of his army. Zato and Aguxyz actually having smaller armies than the other players anyway. And it looks like there's a lot of fire around here because I saw a lot of guardsman models dying. Alright, Purifiers, they do not want to take on 3 squads of Hormigons. In fact, there aren't many things that do. A Dreadnought wants to take on 3 squads of Hormigons. That will feed a Dreadnought a huge amount of experience. A Chimera, you know what? A Chimera will actually not mind 3 squads of Hormigons, as long as it keeps moving. The Commissar will. Commissar cannot do that fight. Not all this. But yeah, they need something. Well, they just need more. Zato's getting Ogryns. I don't entirely approve of that, but we'll see how he can make it work. I would even, man, I'm not even sure what. I mean, Assault Kit Stormtroopers could be nice. Even Catachan Devils might be nice. And actually, the Flamer Guardsman could be potentially useful just to do lots of area of effect damage to the Hormigons. All right, wow, this play from Metal Commander is actually pretty nice. He's got the Brood Nest up here to reinforce all of his stuff. He's got the Capillary Tower providing some buffs. And he's got triple Hormigons, so this is going to be a pretty hard life for Zato. And, I mean, Zato's the main player on the blue team with an army. Meanwhile, what's going on this side? Triple cap for the red team now, with just a major advantage that they're putting up. I mean, this is because of what they're doing right now, what Metal Commander is doing. The red team is holding the blue team's natural. They're holding the blue team's natural. Alright, looks like we do have a Commando Knob who is reclaiming the contested VP, but that's still not quite enough. Alright, they are going to make a push for this. I think something like a Hell Fury Strike would actually do very, very well against the Brood Nest, and I could be totally wrong. It's actually not as good as I thought. I thought it would be, because I know Dark Flames for the Chaos Sorcerer is very good against the Brood Nest, but this not so much. But he's still got that here, he's got the Psychic Field. And ultimately, I think this Brood Nest is going to go down. Flamer Guardsmen moving in. We even got a Terminator Librarian out on the field, smiting a few things. And the blue team does manage to force off the Tyranid Horde. So, well played. Metal Commander does manage to get out of there without hurting too much. He definitely lost a lot of Hormigon models, but, I mean, they are relatively cheap. 15 per model. Although, I do expect he will lose a lot of them. Does also manage to take out an Inquisitor for his troubles. And maybe these Ogryns actually doing pretty well. It also depends on what war gears the Inquisitor has. Well, the Inquisitor can get some war gears that will very hard counter the Ogryns, as long as she actually does get them. If she doesn't get them, then the Ogryns can actually do pretty well. So, that does mean that zeetorq should get them once he gets his Inquisitor back. Alright, some Psy Cannon Purgations open fire. And we've got Stick Bombers doing some long-range bombardment. Stick Bombers are a grenade-throwing unit for the Orcs, often referred to as an artillery unit because they do throw from very, very long range. I mean, Stick Bombers, you pretty much don't want Stick Bombers in a direct fight. They should really be behind your lines, throwing their grenades from afar. And they can be very powerful if used properly. Anyway, the Ogryns should get out of here before they lose a model, because Ogryn models are very, very expensive to reinforce. Not so much for the requisition, but definitely for the power. It does cost 15 power to reinforce an Ogryn model, and that is not cheap at all. Wow! That was an IED, though. It took out the Bonehead Leader, as well as, I believe that was an IED that took out the Bonehead Leader and the model, so that is going to cost Zato a lot. Anyway, over here, Grey Knights taking on the Tyranids. I think the Bro Captain, he doesn't go down. He doesn't go down because of the Terminator Librarian. Excellent use of that from the Terminator Librarian. So this ability from the Terminator Librarian, it will actually knock back any units that attempt to come inside it, so it's very powerful as a melee counter. I think it's a melee counter that for a long time that I think the Grey Knights needed that they didn't have. And it's definitely a very powerful asset that the Grey Knights now have.
Generator under attack.
More grenades or stick bombs going in. A unfinished multi-laser turret. And a double cap for the red team. VP's actually evened out, relatively evened out, 307 to 330 with the red team with the VPs in favor of the red team. I think really the blue team needs to get more units out on the field. They are outnumbered, particularly by Metal Commander, who really is bringing on a Tyranid horde. Some stick bombs go in. I think actually managed to, fairly lucky for spudarevic to not lose a single model there, because we do have the Commando Knob spamming some of his area of effect abilities, but he's using them on a lot of full health units that are right by healing and reinforcement sources. So I don't think the way he used those abilities were particularly good, to be honest. And I mean, the result is now he's retreating his Commando Knob. So I think it really would have been better if he had saved those abilities for a time when he could actually commit to charging this whole line, especially with the aid of his teammate. So the Psy Cannons are going to open fire. I think the Psy Cannons should ultimately have the edge over the Assault Kit Stormtroopers. Assault Kit Stormtroopers should do more damage, but they're also much squishier than the Psy Cannon Purgation. Actually, I don't know about much squishier, but they are squishier. Maybe not by as much. Anyway, these are knobs that I think are completely unupgraded. And I mean, no, I'm wrong. They've got Frenzy, so at least they've got that, but they do not have their Bonehead leader. They do not have their Knob leader, and they also do not have the huge hammers. But it looks like the Commissar Lord goes down anyway. Maybe they can take his Power Claw back. I don't actually know if he had a Power Claw, but I think he did. And it looked like something went down. Yeah, a squad of Oberons went down. I don't even know why those went down. They should not have even really been there that long. And wow, the Bro Captain in here, he is tanking a lot of damage considering how tough all of these units are. He's teleporting in. Or no, maybe he's teleporting out. Using that to save his ass. And I mean, the Bro Captain, despite the damage he does with the splash damage on that, wow, what a beautiful love to Daka on all three squads of Hormagaunts from the Commando. So I think wow! Oh my god! He nearly took out all three of those squads of Hormagaunts. But also very unlucky for him to not finish them off, because that means all three will come back. Excuse me. So very unfortunate for that. Alright, meanwhile we have a Chimera moving up. Chimera moving up with some relatively understrength guardsmen. However, ooh, that's not good. Alright, a lot of things could be in trouble here. Zoanthrope could be in trouble. The Sentinel right here might want to switch to crack missiles. Is it going to switch to crack missiles? If it does, well, I think this Chimera is done anyway. Yeah, so unfortunately, poorly played there. I think that Chimera, if it had more than just one squad of guardsmen inside, it could have finished off either the Sentinel, the Zoanthrope, or possibly both. As it is, it just lost itself. Anyway, we've got Grey Knight Terminators out for Aguxyz. They've actually been upgraded to have the Incinerator rather than the Psy Cannon. Personally, I'm usually more of a Psy Cannon person, since I like to have that versatility and utility, but the Incinerator gives the Grey Knights specialization. It just makes them extremely threatening against infantry, since they'll be threatening infantry quite a bit at range, and then especially once they get into melee, they will just tear any infantry apart. Rocks going down. Wow, I don't know what that Rocks was on. It could have been directly on this bunker to take it out. And Hive Tyrant goes down. So blue team now pretty commanding. They've got a triple cap, although they just lost it because some Catachan Devils are taking back the red team's natural. Here is a Leman Russ actually in a rather poor position. This Leman Russ needs to get out of here. And it might not get out of here anyway. It does not have the elite tank crew, did not have the extra health, and that was a really, really sad end to that Leman Russ. Meanwhile, Zato has a Leman Russ of his own. Anyway, full generator bashes, but don't lose the commandos in the process. Alright, commandos will be fine, but that was a little bit risky. His commandos went down to 1 model. And the knobs really need to respect... Well, I was going to say they really need to respect the Hormagaunts, but I could be wrong because they just got a special attack that just destroyed those Hormagaunts. Still, the Hormagaunts do a major, major amount of damage, but they do also activate Frenzy, and here is the support from some Flash Gits to murder those Hormagaunts. So the Hormagaunts now are kind of struggling. I mean, they are extremely powerful. They do a huge amount of damage, but I think at this point the Hormagaunts are almost like kind of scaled out. They are getting countered by tier 3 units. As much damage as the Hormagaunts do. Ooh, attempted disruption on the Ogrins misses. I feel like the Catachan Devils could turn around and do major damage to the Ogrins. And their Shotgun Blast must be on cooldown, because that really would have been the more choice ability to use against the Ogrins. So blue team looking like they're going to threaten another triple cap. But here is the Baneblade. Spudarevic putting a Baneblade out on the field. They should not be able to... The blue team should not be able to hold a triple cap as long as a Baneblade is out on the field. The Baneblade, I mean, that should virtually guarantee at least 1 point. Maybe not. Ooh, but a very nice Pergatus. Stunning everything in here. Stunning just all of these units. Hell Fury Strike actually really, really negating those Hormagaunts. We have a Tyrannoformation as well, knocking things all over the place. Beautiful Tyrannoformation. Good just for the spectacle of it. But the blue team now actually in a huge amount of trouble because VPs are ticking down against them. They're down into the double digits. This Leman Russ potentially in trouble. Baneblade might want to push forward, go for the kill. But what's actually even more important is that they get things on the point. And they need something to go... I mean, they just need to get something on a point. We do have a Doom of Malantai. They will get this VP, but they need to get something. They are running out of time. They need to make a move now. Or this game could be over. Looks like they're actually going to make the play for the natural. And based on what I've seen up here, they can do it. They can make this play happen. We do have attempted back cap by Knobs. Knobs should get stopped, though, by some... Well, they should at least attempt to stop them. Alright, decap by the artillery spotters. I'm going to try to finish it with the Zoanthrope. I don't agree with that. Where are the rest of the units here? Where is the support? A Zoanthrope should not be the first capping unit. That is terrible for the Zoanthrope. And it looks like, wow, okay, these knobs should actually go down in retreat. Even though they have quite a bit of health left, there are so many things in its retreat path. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Not enough melee in the retreat path. Too many Imperial Guard players to really allow for that to happen. Anyway, we've got a Bro Captain right here reviving things. I don't know, this is looking like the blue team's game. They should be able to finish off what's going on over here, unless they get knocked off by a Doom of Malantai. What about what's going on over here? The Hormagaunts just might do enough damage to this Bro Captain to get him off the point. He does complete the decap. He is not going to live, but I mean that's still pretty good for the blue team. And they also need to like demolish or cannon whatever's going on over here. Otherwise, they are going to lose this. And blue team actually gets the point again, so not looking good for the red team. This is, well, it's now or never. They need to put something on the point now. There is no time to wait. And you know what? I think instead, it's probably just going to be the game against them. I think they took a little too long. And yeah, so that is the game in favor of the blue team. Rock and run just for fun at the end. And oh no, I'm wrong. All right, 190 to 1. I don't know. Can they do this? I mean, it's like at this point, if they're gonna stop it at 1 VP, they have to make it happen. They have to do it. And I mean, they don't have to do it, but I mean that would be the craziest thing that could possibly happen. It is, of course, extremely, extremely hard. They have no margin for error whatsoever, but they're lucky that the blue team is messing up right now. These Terminators are committing too hard to fighting and not enough to actually capping. If the Paladins just got on the point, I think that would have been the game in favor of the blue team. And now it might even be a little too late because the red team is claiming they have their natural. They're claiming the contested. The Paladins will not be able to. They will not get forced off. But I mean, at this point, they lost a window of opportunity to win the game already. That was a window of opportunity. Just move the Paladins on the point under fire when pretty much nothing could have stopped them. Wow. Spudarevic falling apart. This is a Leman Russ for zeetorq. It's going to finish off the Leman Russ for Zato. And now it just needs to be careful. So it's a 1-2 cap, 118 VPs to 1 VP, to 1 VP. This Leman Russ potentially in trouble. Needs some support for the Inquisitor. Where is the Inquisitor? Needs that for Goddess. Otherwise, this Leman Russ could be finished. It's being chased down by both Ogrins and Paladins. That's a lot of damage, and I don't know if the Leman Russ is not going to make it. The only thing that could have saved that Leman Russ was the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor was all the way over here, and she went down. I mean, their only chance would have been a per Goddess. That was the only thing that would have saved the Leman Russ. Need to get some... Throw a grenade. A grenade needs to go on that thing now. And he's not throwing a grenade. It hurts to see this. Alright. Well, I was a little hopeful that the red team was going to come back in that game. Needed to have a grenade toss from Spudarevic right here. His energy is not full, so it's possible that it may have just been on cooldown. Well, either way, that was still pretty exciting at the end. If you enjoyed it, have a good night.